thanks for joining us once again on today's show. My name is Peace Amewowo, and you are watching Spotlights, brought to you by Single and Married with a Life. Today, we want to inspire you once again with the story of this wonderful gentleman who is the head coordinator of Single with a Life, SWAL. He's actually been our youngest and most responsible head coordinator, as I always describe him. And so I will let him introduce himself briefly to you, and hopefully by the end of this show you'll get to know more about him and why he qualified to be the head coordinator of SWAL. And he probably would open your eyes to understand SWAL more. So welcome on board.
Thank you.
Edem Jacob Zulu. So apparently it's only in SWAL that we call him Edem.
And in the house they call me Edem as well.
Okay, but your friends know you to be...
But my friends and at school I'm known as Jacob.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so because this is a SWAL show, are we okay to address you as Edem?
Edem, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Right, so tell us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah. So like we said, my name is Edem Jacob Zulu. I come from a family of 4.
Okay.
I have a younger sister, Ophelia. I'm married to Theodora Vos, and now Mrs. Theodora Zonu.
Okay.
Yeah. We got married last year in October. I work with the Norwegian Veterinary Institute as a researcher in fish health and welfare in the International Center for Aquatic Animal Health Development here in Norway. I also serve in SWAL as the head coordinator. I've been doing that since August 2016. I'm also volunteering with the European Association of Fish Pathologists as their webmaster and Facebook administrator.
Really? I didn't know that one.
Yeah, we didn't know that one. It's meant to be a surprise.
Okay.
And how SWAL has prepared me also for that unexpected role.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We thank God for that. Okay, so you are warmly welcome.
Thank you.
And I hope you are ready to inspire our audience. You've got so many of your Swalians and Moalians that are watching right now, and I'm sure that they would want to know more about the Edem, the Hedi that they've always been saying on, especially on our WhatsApp group and so forth. So a big welcome, and it's a pleasure to have you here. When it comes to holidays, are you an outdoor person or an indoor, or the type that want to explore?
I used to be an indoor person, especially when I was in Ghana.
Okay.
But when I moved to the Western world, being an indoor person doesn't always help, because then, especially if you don't have people to interact with indoors, you might feel depressed, because also you don't get a lot of sunlight. And we all know what vitamin D does when we go out and enjoy the sunlight. So I would say I've been trying to be an outdoor person, even though I'm naturally indoor.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you like to dress up or dress down?
It depends.
Okay.
I like to keep it simple most of the time.
Okay.
But if it is a special occasion, I might come out looking very nice. I try as much as possible. I will give you a scenario.
Okay.
So we're in Zambia for a conference, and when I'm going to work on a regular day, I dress very casual. I can go to work this way. But then at the conference, I make sure every time we are supposed to go to the conference ground, I dress nicely. Sometimes I wear suit or nice African wear, and my colleagues were very impressed because they have not seen that part of me.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. If you were a musical instrument, which one would you have been?
Wow. A musical instrument.
Yeah.
I would say the bass guitar, because it adds a bit of life to whenever you are in a live band. and there's a bass. It depends on the music, but when there's a bass guitar, it adds a bit of life to the music.
Okay, so you like to add life.
Yeah.
Is that why you became a singer with a life?
Yes, of course. Without life, you are literally dead. So.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So let's get into the serious stuff. Can you share with us how your journey with SWAL started?
So my journey with SWAL started with Grace Bodo Equia. Yeah. Okay. I'm very grateful for her because I don't know how she heard of SWAL, but she introduced me 2016, somewhere in February.
Okay.
And when she introduced it to me, I just embraced it because I have grown up in an area where I see a lot of marriages around me, and the ones that were as young as I was, I've seen the ones that were working and the ones I think were not really working. And I'm one person that don't like to see couples argue on top of their voices because even though I was young, I feel they could say some of the things they were saying in public, in private. So from there on, I've always desired to have a marriage that is peaceful. So when I heard of SWAL and the name Equipping Singles for Purpose and Better Marriage, it was easy to embrace. Yeah.
Okay.
So she introduced me and I joined that month in February 2016. Okay. I was 21 years old. Okay. I was in the first semester, level 300. Okay. I was in the University of Cape Coast studying a bachelor in Fisheries and Aquatic Sciences.
And how old are you now?
I'm 29.
Wow.
Turning 30 in April.
Hey, so you've been in SWAL for almost how many years?
9 years now.
9 years. Yeah. Okay. What has kept you in SWAL for this long?
I would say what have kept me in SWAL is how SWAL has remained consistent over the years. Yeah. Even though the WhatsApp group is not as vibrant as it used to be, the teachings, the structure of SWAL remain the same throughout the year. Yeah. You can start something very good, but it's not easy to maintain it. Okay. So that's exactly what I mean.
Okay.
So over the years, the vision has been sustained in a way that it is the structure that was in place has always remained the same. And the rules that were guiding the WhatsApp group, unlike any random WhatsApp group that you can just post random messages, the rules seem to work over the years.
Okay.
Even though there were diverse programs like Spotlight, even on the WhatsApp group, there were business, how do we call it?
Business talks.
Business talks, whereby Swalians starting businesses could present to members.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of programs that were introduced to make it diverse.
Yeah.
So it's not only about education and teaching, training. The vision has remained the same, which is equipping singles for purpose. Yeah. That's the foundation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Can you tell us how you became the head coordinator of SWAL?
So not too long after I joined as a member, opportunities were presented for new members to join the coordinating team. This was after about 5 months after I joined I joined SWAL as a member. During that time, we had quite a lot of turbulence in the coordinating team.
Okay, permit me to come in here to explain what he means by turbulence. We already had 2 head coordinators before he came. So the first one came, served for 6 months. Then the other one also came, served for another 6 months. So they all served for 6 months.
For 6 months.
Yeah. And initially everything was good. I mean, they added their feel to the vision. In fact, the first head coordinator was the one who opened up the door of SWAL. Okay, so he had a dream about the fact that he saw me speaking in front of a big crowd. There was a big program and I was speaking on stage and he was at the door and he was ushering people in. That was a dream he had and he shared with me. We both did not understand the dream. So he was very instrumental. He actually contacted me through Facebook because he saw our page on Facebook. So at that time I was praying to God, I need somebody to help me with this vision. I don't know how to do it by myself. And then one Sunday on my way to church, he sent me a Facebook message and said, I just came across your page. I feel impact on it and I want to help you. I remember that time I was like, Facebook, is he genuine? Is he, so I just responded. I said I'll come back to him. I spoke to my friend who is now my husband. I spoke to him and he said, give him a go, let him help and see how much he can help. So I spoke to him, he came on board, and then I gave him my number and I added him to the WhatsApp group. So initially the WhatsApp group was called Singles Forum. Yes. And all that I was doing there was posting Miles Monroe's videos about singleness, marriage, prayer, anything that I feel will inspire young people and singles. I just posted it and I asked people to watch. But when I added that guy, his name is Alvin. Immediately I added him. It's like he was the turning point for SWAL. And he said something and everybody started coming out, posting their comments. And it became like a very active group all of a sudden. I'm like, what is going on here? He just teared up the whole thing. And by the time we realized, SWAL was now very vibrant. And remember the dream he had. He was at the door ushering people in. And from the time he entered SWAL, on the WhatsApp group, we started having members joining the group. We started because the group discussions was so intensive and very interesting. So people naturally started telling their friends, oh, there's a group here, there's a lot of discussions, blah, 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 and they started joining. So I just want to, because you probably didn't know that bit. Okay, so this is also for you to learn a little bit about what happened before you came. After that, we had a first SWAL event. Which took place in 2015. You were still not on the group.
No, I was still not on the group.
And he was the one who hosted it. I couldn't go, but I hosted another event in the UK. It was November 2015. So he also did his there in Ghana. We had a lot of the singles of the WhatsApp group traveling from different places in Ghana, and they went. And then after the event, that was when things started going bad in terms of relationship-wise, accountability. Because obviously, I want you to account for what happened, money, everything to do with the event. And things didn't go on very well. So eventually, he had to step down. And then he introduced Eric. And then Eric also came, very vibrant young guy. He was helping a lot with the posters. He would design nice posters. I mean, those guys they brought some kind of touch, energy to the vision, and he took this. Something happened with him and one of the members which didn't sit well, and I suspended him for a while. I said, we need to investigate this thing, because you were a head coordinator and this is with a member, so we need to make sure that things settle properly. And I think he couldn't handle the suspension, so he left. Okay. So sometimes when people are like, oh, maybe I sacked him, I didn't sack him. I suspended him and then he left. I think you came around. I came around when Eric was
the head coordinator when I joined. And he has always been an inspiration because he hosted the event, my first SWAL event conference.
And that one I went to Ghana.
He went to Ghana.
And it went very well.
It went very well.
So all these guys, they played their role.
Exactly.
Sometimes when people have served their purpose, God has a way of taking them out of the picture. Not that they are bad or because they did something that is so terrible. Because whatever you do, there's always grace, there's always mercy that can, let you still play your role, and maybe with a little bit of guidance and correction here and there, but God had to use these situations somehow to take them out of their way because they have finished their race, at that point. I don't know if maybe later on if we will have them coming back. I don't know.
It's possible.
I don't know. But my hands are always open, because I don't have anything against them.
Yeah.
They did their work. They did their work. I mean, Eric, I like Eric so much.
There's this guy, forgotten his name.
Is it Mau?
Mau.
Yes.
He was the deputy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when Alvin left, Eric became the head coordinator.
Yeah.
Alvin was the one who brought Eric along as well. So they are friends.
Okay.
But he stayed. He didn't say, okay, because
he's gone,
so let me just go. No, he stayed. And then, so this is why I'm saying that they are not bad people. It's just their purpose. They've served their purpose at that point. So when he left, Mau now became the deputy. So that was where things were. And I think Mau too, something happened. There was all kinds of... Oh my God, these guys were good. I mean, Mau was the one who composed the SWAL song.
Yes, he composed the SWAL song.
So
I remember.
They did, I'm smiling because, they played their role. And he was just a little bit, he's got this funny thing about him that he himself knew that it doesn't settle well with people, but I think it was just an area that he needed to improve. But he was a little older. And I was so young and I'm a girl. So I think they had this impression that I shouldn't be telling them do this or do that. That's the problem I think I had with them, because they were a little bit older already. And so submitting to the leader or the visionary became a problem. But apart from that, I don't have any issues. So Mau also had to leave. Eric left. And then I was like, what's going on? What should I do? I can't do this alone. So then I came to the point, I said, God, we need to get a new head coordinator. And I didn't want to choose anymore because all these head coordinators, I was the one who chose them. So I said, God, we need to have another head coordinator. I'm going to throw it to the coordinators, the coordinating team, to choose who they want to lead them. And that was how everybody was saying, Adamson. And I already had you in mind. But my fear was, he's so young, he's so quiet, all these coordinators... Exactly, all these coordinators are older, like the likes of Elo, Linda, they were all in their 20s, like mid-20s, and you were so young, all of them were older than you.
Isaac too. I think
Isaac was the Elikem. Elikem was even far older than me. So they were all there, they were supportive, but I was having this fear that maybe they might not respect you as much as you deserve. They might not be able to support you. They probably may even be thinking, we've been here before he came. Why not us? So I just thought, let me throw it to them. And they all started mentioning your name. And it suited me because I already had you in mind. So I thought that was the voice of the people. Sometimes can be the voice of God. So I allowed it, and here we are. So that was the chaotic.
And all this happened within the space of about 3 months.
It happened so quick. It happened so quick. So after the event, that was when there was this big change, because a lot of people left. And when I prayed into it, the Lord said to me that He was sifting the coordinating team. He was sifting them, and I was so scared. I was like, God, I hope you're not going to sift out Adam. I hope you're not sifting out Elon. I hope you're not sifting out Blessing. I know, all the people that I felt were very effective and helping so much. I was now scared. And God did His own sifting, and by the end of the sifting, we had a very strong team that you came to lead. So you got a history.
Yes.
Okay. Good. I'm sure many Swalians didn't know this. Getting to know this is good. It's part of our history. So back to you. How does it feel like to be a head coordinator?